Michael, I'm going to turn it over to you at this point.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everybody. We're going to be talking about a couple of things here. So the scholarship committee, the executive board got together and wanted to make sure that we spent some time updating our manager of the year, specialist of the year awards, as well as all of our scholarship applications. So we've been busy doing that for the past several months, and we want to present that to you today. Um, so let's start with the awards, the Manager of the Year application that we have. I'm going to pull that up, and so again, this is an award. It's our annual award. Again, we've updated this, considerably, and we'll go over that today. Um, I think the important thing here is to remember is a manager or any level supervisor is eligible for this. And so a line level supervisor, a department manager in procurement would be eligible to submit. The applications for the manager of the year and the specialist are due coming up February 5th. So we've only got about 2.5 weeks left, and we just really want to reach out to our membership. There's a lot of great people in our membership. People are doing some really cool things with their entity and with the chapter. So let's take the time to nominate some people. We really want to get some nominations going. And remember, this can be nominated by a fellow member of the chapter, or it could be nominated by the actual self-nomination. So, please feel free to, self-nominate if you'd like to do that. And so let's focus. And if you have any questions, I'm going to, Bill and Lisa are going to help me kind of keep track of hands. So let's keep this informative. If you have any questions as we go through these, feel free to reach out.
Can I chime in real quick?
You bet. You bet.
Yeah. As far as the self-nomination, folks, you gotta really think about self-nomination. If someone's gonna nominate you, it's much better if you work with that person that's nominating you. You're the only one that knows all the wonderful things you've done. As past winner of the Manager of the Year back in 2016, if I hadn't had Gary Barkman from Mesa helping me and working with me and me giving him information and us doing it as a team, we wouldn't have been as successful. So please think of this program as more of a self-nomination. Don't think you're bragging on yourself. That's the way this is set up. You do need to self-nominate. You're the only one that knows all the special things you've done. Michael, that's all I wanted to say on that. Thank you very much for letting me interrupt.
Hey, no problem. No problem, Bill. Um, so I think the first thing right here, some of the requirements, the nominee must be actively employed in public procurement profession and a current member of NIGP National or plans to become a member upon a successful outcome. So you don't have to be an NIGP National member right now, but we certainly would like you to be if you are successful. Um, the nominee shall be an active participant and promoter of education and professional development, be supportive of public procurement organizations, demonstrate passion for the vision and mission of NIGP, and maintain high ethical and moral standards in accordance with NIGP Code of Ethics, and be active in community affairs. So we're going to kind of scroll through here slowly and just kind of talk about this. This is our, we've got the applications available through the AZNIGP website. I know Heather had forwarded that out. We are seeing repeated announcements on that. The applications can be activated from that announcement that comes to you, that email announcement. And again, the eligibility, again, any level supervision, any level management within the procurement arena. And then getting down into the guidelines. So we have updated the guidelines, and we'll go over those in just a moment. But this is really important. It is not a requirement that you have to respond to all criteria elements. Respond to whatever criteria elements that apply. for the individual that's applying. The more you can apply for, of course, that's better because they all have points associated. But do not let that be, a hindrance. If you're thinking, oh, I've got to respond to everything, I can't, I don't do that particular criteria. So feel free to look at these and respond accordingly. It really is based on 2 years. So 2 years of your past experience. So January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2024 is the time frame that you need to focus in to meet all these criteria elements. So that's the time frame. And again, whoever wins these two awards, we do expect that they will participate at the national forum through their competition for National Manager of the Year and National Specialist of the Year. So please be aware of that. We really want to promote the folks that win this, and one of the nice things is if you win, the chapter is going to sponsor your trip. We'll pay for the registration, the airfare, and the lodging. The only thing the applicant would be responsible for is per diem. And then just so you get a chance to go to Denver, Colorado and compete at the national level. And again, the chapter will assist with the successful awardee in applying for that. So we will provide guidance on that. So that's kind of cool. It's really exciting to be part of that national level. So let's look at the criteria. Again, we're on the Manager Supervisor of the Year, and we have updated these. So again, we're stressing within the past 2 years, and I'll just kind of hit some of these as we kind of go through. So again, any of these that apply, applicant enacted policies or practices that have enhanced the efficiency and effectiveness of their agency or end users. You submit up to 3 examples of that. Applicant demonstrated effort to recruit and retain professional procurement staff. So what have you done to try to recruit or retain through any kind of a compensation program? Maybe you studied the salaries of other competing areas and tried to promote your team, whatever that might have been. Applicant established a staff development program, including internal, external training. So you might have sat down with your team and put together a more comprehensive training program. You might be responsible for a budget. So if you've had any role in recommending or implementing your procurement budget or an associated budget, that would be helpful. Let's see, applicant developed or directed the development or revision of a manual for procurement personnel, users, or vendors. So we all have those kind of manuals in our operation. If you've updated that or developed one. Has the applicant been on a committee or task force involved in developing, implementing, or revising new procurement procedures? Did the applicant receive a non-chapter related service award, up to 2 awards? So this is something that your organization gave you. Maybe it's a years of service award. Maybe you were recognized in some special way for your contributions. That would be a service award with your entity. Applicant served as a presenter to their agency. Did you present anything to a group? Did you teach a class? Did you present a topic to your agency? And it doesn't mean it could be any part of the agency. So if you've done that, that could apply. And the last one would be any kind of volunteering that you did, served on a government or a nonprofit entity, association, or civic organization, not procurement related. So this is something non-procurement that you got involved with your community. Any type of volunteer work would qualify here. So that's everything related to your entity. And then the next part will be related to the chapter and what you've contributed, again, within the past 2 years. And we'll just kind of skim through these just for the sake of timing here. But again, read through these. The first one, applicant enacted policies or practices that have enhanced the efficiency and effectiveness of their chapter. If you've served as an officer of the chapter, if you've served as a committee chairperson of the chapter, if you've been on a committee of the chapter. Let's see, you were an instructor maybe and presented some topic to an AZNIGP sponsored event. maybe you wrote an article. You can use that. If you were involved if you did some volunteer work to the chapter via special assignment, or that could qualify. Um, if there was a survey or study you participated in, again, certification here. If you hold certifications, you can name up to 3 certifications that you hold. And again, if we and the last one we added was related to your involvement with the chapter over the past 2 years. Show us where you supported AZNIGP by attending at least 5 in-person events over the past 2 years, and give us the titles and dates for that. So I'm going to pause there just to see if we have any hands up to talk about the criteria that we've talked about.
Guys, if you have questions, feel free to speak up or put them in the chat. If there's any questions about anything Michael's gone over up till now.
And then just to summarize, so this is the packet that you'll turn in. So here are the things you need to turn in for this award. A signed, dated, and completed Manager Supervisor of the Year application, and that's attached to this form, and we'll look at it in just a moment. There's going to be a nomination letter, so whoever's nominating you, be it a coworker, a manager, or yourself, you would do a nomination letter where you basically are nominating, and several paragraphs that kind of outline why you think this person is worthy of the recognition. We're seeking 2 endorsement letters. So this would be any letter from colleagues, your using groups, your customers within your organization that can attest to the great things you've done. We need 2 letters from those individuals. And then you need to put together a written narrative that addresses the criteria elements that you want to respond to. Keep it in that same format that is presented, and just show, I would, restate the question, and then it puts put your explanation next to each one of the criteria points, and turn that in, and then any kind of supporting documentation that would support what you are responding to. So that takes a little time, right? I mean, this is a fair amount of work to put together. So we, if you are interested, this is why things need to happen pretty quickly, because we've got about 2.5 weeks before this is due. And all that needs to come over to my attention, so you can email it to me no later than February 5th. And then we're going to go ahead and take all those applications and nominations and get our scholarship review committee to review those. And again, we included the national NIGP requirements here, just so that the applicant knows that this is, if they're successful, this is the level that you would respond to at the NIGP national level. And they look for the applicant to respond how they have addressed each one of these key principles in their job. And so we put it there just for reference. It's not applicable to what you're doing for this particular award. Here is the application for Manager, Supervisor of the Year. So Lisa Goodman is helping us get all those forms updated, so a little bit more easy to respond to, and these 2 have already been updated. And so just complete that and turn that in with your application. So that is the Manager of the Year, Supervisor of the Year award. Any questions on that? Okay, guys, we're going to jump into the Specialist of the Year application. So there's some commonality here. So again, this is for any non-supervisor position. So if there's no supervision related, this would be the award that would be applicable. And again, the nominee must be actively employed in the public procurement profession, a current member of NIGP National, or plans to become a member of National, and they will be an active participant, as is noted here. So this talks about the eligibility. Please read this. This kind of gives you the broad range of who would potentially qualify for this position. And the guidelines, again, it is not required to respond to all criteria elements here. Whatever fits, 2 years, same sequence of time that we talked about earlier. Again, the successful applicant will also be expected to compete at the national for the National Specialist of the Year award. Here is the criteria that we've identified, and this has been fairly updated quite a bit. So we spent a lot of time updating the Specialist of the Year criteria. Carrie Ingalls had given us some really good input about it. We should try to make this a little bit more relative to the actual position of a procurement officer or procurement specialist. So again, any of these you can respond to. We'll just kind of go over a few of them. Again, applicant initiated a procurement concept or idea that added value to their agency. Created or recommended policies or practices that have enhanced efficiency. Again, reports, manual updates, been part of a working group or a task force on a procurement related subject. Again, this is a volunteer component. They volunteered. Again, this is a non-procurement related volunteer work that you've done. If you've received, again, non-chapter related service awards from your entity, you've presented to your entity, and then these three were added based on Carrie's suggestion. And so this is applicant achieves significant cost savings or cost avoidance through a solicitation process, contract renewal process, etc. So submit up to 3 examples there where you've saved your organization some money through some direct efforts that you participated in. The second new ad is the applicant established a contract via a competitive sourcing process that provided significant value for their agency. And you can provide up to 2 examples of that. And I'm sure there's some great examples out there where you took on a fairly complicated procurement, saw it through, which added value to your organization. Tell us about it. And the third is applicant issued and awarded an upfront cooperative solicitation that aggregated volumes of other named entities and delivered a successful award outcome for all participants. So if you've done an upfront cooperative, tell us about it. But that's a great example of some really good work. So that's everything you've done with your entity. The next part is with your chapter. Again, they're similar to the manager of the year, your involvement as an officer or a committee chairperson or a member. You might have presented to an AZNIGP event. Your certifications will count. And then again, you have an opportunity to indicate your involvement with the chapter through your training and your attendance, a minimum of 5 in-person events. So that would be documented. So again, similar format here, guys. Application checklist. We've got an application, do the nomination letter. We need 2 endorsement letters. Your written narrative addressing the criteria elements. All that needs to be sent over to my attention via email for that due date. Again, we've included the national standards here, and then here is the application that you would complete as well. So I'll pause there for any questions on the Specialist of the Year. Okay, Bill, I think we'll move into the scholarships.
Sounds great. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, and this has also there's been a lot of work done, folks. And so, Bill wanted us to kind of articulate a little better about the different programs that are available. AZNIGP has a long history of really trying to provide scholarships where members need that additional financial support to be able to get those individuals to professional development opportunities. So let's start with this document. And this is, we'll kind of outline the 5 opportunities there are for scholarships. So we'll go over this, we'll summarize this, and then we'll pull up each application so we can get a little bit more detail on that. The first scholarship opportunity is called a $1,000 AZNIGP National Forum Scholarship. So again, just like it says, the chapter will award $1,000 to a member to attend National Forum. And this can be used to pay for the registration, for lodging, or airfare. And it is, and the chapter will award 5 of those as we move into the evaluation phase. So there'll be 5 awards for that. The next category is the first timer AZNIGP National Forum Scholarship. Again, that's a full scholarship, does not include per diem, but it covers airfare, lodging, and registration. There's one available for that, and that goes to somebody that has never been to National Forum. So if you've never been to National Forum, you can qualify for that scholarship and submit your application. So that's what that one's about. And then the next category is 1GPA. 1GPA has continued to kindly donate 2 scholarships to Forum. So we call that the 1GPA National Forum Scholarship. Again, covers everything except per diem. And they asked us to work with them to update that scholarship. They want that scholarship to be for somebody that is new to the profession, relatively new to the profession, and is looking to build a career. And we'll get into a little bit more detail about that when we pull that application up. But that's got some nuances around it this year that that need to be aware of. The next category is the Journeyman AZNIGP National Forum Scholarship. So this is a new, it's a new definition of a scholarship. And we toyed around with a name for that, and we came up with Journeyman because the target for this would be for the members, for our members that have been in the profession for a while, that do have skills and that they've moved into into roles inside their organizations. But this would be an opportunity to sharpen the saw, right? We all, no matter how long we've been in the profession, there are times where you need to take a break and go get some training to keep things fresh and current. So we thought Journeyman is a good name for that, right? It's a trade category, trade name that reflects the expertise of an individual in the trades that has become very accomplished, but is still, always in that learning mode. So we've identified that as Journeyman. There are 2 scholarships available for the Journeyman scholarship. And we'll get into a little bit more detail shortly. Then we have the next category is the general scholarships. And this is for non-forum related scholarships, okay? So this would cover any other professional development classes, seminars. It could be used for your certification, testing, renewal. But just think a general scholarship is non-forum related, and a member is eligible to receive up to $1,000 per calendar year for this general scholarship. So not one individual cannot receive more than $1,000 per year. And again, you're only eligible to win one of the National Forum scholarships that we have here. You can apply for whichever ones that meet the requirements for you in particular, but you can only win one scholarship there per year. And so Bill, anything to add on our overview before we get into the details?
No, I think you were pretty good. Go through your general notes and we're good to go.
Okay. All right, guys. So, and I don't see any questions yet. So we will, let's go into the $1,000 scholarship for Forum. So again, we've updated these, in a lot of different ways. Now, the important thing to know here is that all of these scholarships, with the exception of the general scholarship, all of the forum-related scholarships, you need to have your applications in by February 28th, 2025. And so that's important to remember. So we got to get that going. And again, no late submittals will be accepted. Again, we've talked about up to $1,000. And then here is the criteria. So again, now on this particular application, guys, for the criteria elements, you do need to respond to all categories. Okay, we have some flexibility on the buyer of the year and the manager of the year. where you can pick and choose the criteria, but when you apply for these scholarships, you do need to respond to all elements in your submittal. That's very important. So again, this is just some general background. Applicants shall explain how attending the annual forum will support their professional growth within their agency and chapter. So tell us about that. The applicant shall be certified as one of these levels. So that's a requirement, at least one of those. Applicant shall be an active participating member. You indicate how many years you've been involved with AZNIGP. Applicant shall present current within the last 2 years activity with AZNIGP chapter, such as past board memberships, committee memberships. Tell us about what you've been doing with the chapter basically for the past 2 years. Applicant shall indicate their willingness to share the knowledge and technical expertise they obtain with fellow members of the chapter. Applicant shall provide the extent of financial support from their agency or certification from their agency that no support is available. And applicants shall detail the benefits of attending the AZNIGP forum and how they will professionally benefit. And tell us about your career. We'd like to get a little narrative of your professional career over the past 5 years. And applicant to indicate if they have been awarded a forum scholarship in the past 3 years. So all of those elements need to be responded to. And here's your checklist. You're going to send this to my attention again. So we're going to need to update that date. So that date is wrong. So that is February 28th, guys. So I'll catch that. That's an error on that due date. And so yeah, turn that in. Here's the application. And so you will fill this application, you will fill inside the form. So the buyer of the year, manager of the year, you're going to develop a narrative that you're going to submit with your application. Here, you're going to build it within the application and complete that certification. So that's pretty much the $1,000. Are we seeing any questions on this category?
Sorry, Michael. Laura was just commenting that you're providing great information.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Michael, can you explain what will happen if we get more than 5 folks that want the 5 $1,000 scholarships? Like if we receive 7 applications to qualify, can you explain that a little bit?
You bet, you bet. And that would be a good thing. So if we have that, we'll have a lottery and we'll have a drawing basically. So we'll put all those names in a hat and or whatever we have, and we'll go ahead and draw that. And our plan is to have all of the applications awarded during purchasing month, which is March. So at our meeting that we have in March, we will plan to make those award announcements. But yes, if we get more qualified applicants than scholarships that we have, then we'll draw lots for that.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, let me quickly move to first-timer scholarship. So as it indicates, as we've explained, it's for those folks that have never been, and there's one scholarship available. And again, the criteria is right here. Again, respond to all elements in your narrative, and similar criteria points that we've discussed, but please review those. And then you will be completing the application, and then we put a limit, I think, on the words on these just to kind of keep it nice and concise. But this is where you would respond to that. Any questions on the first-timer application?
I just have a question about the application process or details in general. Where can they be found? Is this on the website, or do you have to email this out to us, or how can we get a hold of this information?
Got it. Thank you, Jamie. Great question. We're going to have everything available no later than January 21st is our plan. So Heather will go ahead, and that'll be a formal announcement out to the membership via an email alert. And so we will formally have these applications on the AZNIGP and available no later than January 21st.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael, it's Heather. Can I step in really quick?
Oh, please, please.
The forms are located, if you are a member, you need to sign on to the website. You can go to the document library, and then you can look up scholarships and applications. It's its own folder. That's where the documents are located. That's where these ones will be located, and any other documents you guys want to look at.
Right, so when we send out the email, we can send out an email that day once the applications are available and let folks know again exactly where those documents can be located. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. Okay, let's take a look at the Journeyman Scholarship. So here we go. Same time frame. We have 2 of these scholarships. And again, the criteria is listed here. And again, the criteria is fairly similar to these, but there are some nuances. So, just review those. And yeah, we got 28. And then this is your application that you'll be responding to. We'll probably have some updated applications, this part of it. Lisa's helping us get that in a little bit more easily form-filled categories. So that'll be a little update there. But yeah, this is the Journeyman. Again, it really is designed. The key thing here is I think we say a minimum of 5 years of procurement experience. So the Journeyman Scholarship is being offered to members who have a minimum of 5 years experience and who have achieved a minimum of 1 professional certification and who have demonstrated a commitment to the procurement profession based on their career achievements. This scholarship is intended to create an opportunity for those tenured professionals who are seeking a way to reinvigorate their careers with new learning and networking opportunities. So that's what the Journeyman is all about. Okay, moving on. We will go into where is 1GPA? I'm sorry, let me catch the 1GPA. Again, this is sponsored by 1GPA. They're sponsoring 2 scholarships this year. And again, as we mentioned, the intent of the 1GPA scholarship is to assist members who are relatively new to public procurement, approximately 5 years or less, who may or may not hold any procurement certifications and may be unable to attend the NIGP annual forum due to agency budget restrictions. Through this scholarship, 1GPA is seeking to promote, encourage, and support those chapter members who are passionate about public procurement and who are seeking to build a career within this profession. That's exactly what the executives at 1GPA are trying to accomplish through their scholarship opportunity. The guidelines are noted here. The criteria. The first category is indicate the number of years they have been a member of AZNIGP. Any kind of what your involvement has been with the chapter. Applicants shall list the various AZNIGP sponsored events and professional development opportunities that have been attended over the past 2 years. Applicants shall be employed in the public sector in a procurement-related position and have approximately 5 years or less experience. Applicants shall describe their time employment history. Applicants shall identify any professional certs held. If not certified, applicants shall describe their plans for achieving certification. Applicants shall describe their professional goals and explain their desire to build a career in public procurement. Applicants shall detail the benefits of attending the NIGP forum and how they will professionally benefit. And applicants shall discuss their financial support from their agency. And then the last one is indicate if you've been to forum in the past 3 years. So this would be submitted, and this is the form that you would fill out for this application. And the rest of the applications will mirror this this approach once we have those ready to go. So any questions on the 1GPA scholarship?
Michael, it's Heather. I have a question.
Yes.
Does 1GPA review these applications as well, or is it just our chapter? Do they have a decision in this as well?
You know, I think that's a good question, Heather. Look, Bill, could you clarify, have they been involved in past evaluations?
No, they have not made a
No.
request to be involved. I don't think they're going to be involved. We allowed them to participate in the drafting of this, but actually scoring it should be just our members.
Heather, anything else on that?
No, I just wanted to clarify for all of our members that are online.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Good
Thanks, Heather.
clarification.
Yep.
Okay, so I think here's the general scholarship application. So this is again for non-form related expenses, and again, for any other professional development that you need assistance on, this would be the application you submit. And we make a note here, submission should be made as soon as possible to when you need the event, but preferably no later than 6 weeks before the event. Please note the chapter receives greater discounts from national with at least 60 days advance registration, so an early submission is encouraged. So that would be helpful. And you know, we talk a little bit about the different opportunities here. Again, awards are limited to the actual tuition registration expense of up to $1,000 per person for the current calendar year. And the criteria elements are right here. So you would need to respond to all these criteria elements and go ahead and complete the application and have that turned in to my attention when you are ready to make a request, and then we will go through a review process to determine if we can award that. So any questions on the general scholarship application process?
No, just again, like the $1,000 scholarship, if we have more than 2 votes that are successful and meet the minimum criteria, then they'll be put in a drawing just like we did last year. Thank you, Michael.
Okay. Well, Bill, I think that concludes all the comments we had on the Specialist and Manager of the Year and the scholarship applications. Guys, remember the clock is ticking on a lot of these, so that we need your involvement early to go ahead and get to meet those deadlines. So appreciate everybody's time on that.
One last announcement, in case you guys didn't hear, our chapter had more folks attend last year's forum than any of the other 71 chapters out there. So give yourselves a hand. That's pretty awesome. We are fully represented at that national conference.